Hey everyone, in this video I'll be showing you how to easily get infinite ammo in Resident Evil 9 Requiem. This is going to be two different strategies depending on how we beat the game the first time around, as well as talking about how to get the next upgrades as well as complete all the different challenges in this game, as there's kind of a path that we want to take while doing this. So infinite ammo being one of the things you definitely want to bring into insanity mode, which does reward a lot of points. This does again require you to beat the game one time, and you're going to come into the challenges here. Now, the first time you beat the game and all the different things you've done, you probably have around 10,000 different combat or completion points here, and there's a couple different challenges here that aren't too bad to complete if you're close to them. Now, I would recommend trying to get all the Plant 43 seedlings defeated if you can. That's a really easy one to get the points from. But the big ones here are the case closed, which is reading all the files in the main story, as well as destroying all Mr. Raccoon memoriams. There are different guides online for these, but I would recommend doing these because combined together, you're going to get 5,000 points for both of these. And if you do this after completing the game, it means we only have to do one of the two challenges that are going to get us over the line. Now, the two major challenges I'm talking about is never touch the stuff, which means you have to beat the game without using herbs or med injectors, and minimalist, which means you can't use the blood collector as Grace. Now, you can actually combine and do both of these together, and there is a kind of a cheesier way to be able to do this, which I'll break down. However, if you got the 10,000 from beating the game, the 5,000 or the 3,000 from case closed, the 2,000 from You're a Little Rascal, that takes you to 15,000, and combined with the 35,000 that you get from one of these, you'd only have to do one of them. And the easier of the two, oddly enough, is the never touch the stuff, which means you don't use any heals at all, which is okay because on the easier difficulty, it makes it a little bit better as you heal yourself naturally. And I found that using the blood collector to create ammo is really important as Grace. It's one of the harder parts about that. We can also set ourselves up to completing the final puzzle, which we can do on a third playthrough to get extra points to unlock more stuff. The last one I mentioned is Speed Demon, which offers 20,000 completion points here, and this is by beating the game in 4 hours. Honestly, it's doable easily. I would actually recommend doing all three challenges all at once because there's actually one thing we can purchase to make our next playthrough a little bit easier. And that is Grace's weapon, the Kotetsu, which is a knife that does not break. This is important because it can stagger enemy bosses and enemies, letting us run past them and not have to get, any damage taken from them because we can't heal. This becomes really helpful if you need to run past anyone. You can always just use your melee there. That's going to give them a stun, and then you can just run on past. So don't be afraid to use this. It costs 5,000 completion points. Very much worth using because sometimes you just need to attack an enemy. It's weird. And when you're doing this, you don't really want to engage with enemies. They're basically just going along the critical path, like the main path that we went through to be able to grab every item that we can. That's only necessary. You don't want to grab things that aren't, and especially things like healing items. Now, I already took out Chunk on this playthrough. However, he is actually going to be our best friend, and you don't want to take him out at this point because what you can do is you can actually have him take out the zombies for you. Although, again, they're just best off left ignored because that just eats up our time if we're going to be doing the speed run. But you can let Chunk actually take out a lot of the different zombies in this area. Another thing, when you're in the water treatment facility, there's a section in this where you have to, if you want to do the special puzzle, you have to wait for 50 minutes. I'll likely do a video on that in the future because, if you want to do the secret ending, you do have to wait in one section for 15 minutes. It's a bit of a complicated process. It's a section where you had that combat encounter with the conveyor belt and the bodies that are dropping down into. You actually have to wait at that terminal for the bodies to drop in. So if you're doing the speed run, it still can be done. I was able to beat the game at 3.5 hours, so you can do it if you wanted to. But I would recommend if you find yourself to be stressed out over time to skip it and just go for the speed run. Now, the hardest part about not healing is when you get low on health. I would recommend playing on casual difficulty because if you go into the red in terms of your health, you end up getting your health back to yellow. It won't go back to green, but that's good enough for what we're doing. I also recommend grabbing the health increase here. And the best part being the steroid doesn't actually count as an actual heal for the purposes of healing you, so you can still get the achievement while using that, and it gives you a heal all the way to full. So don't be afraid to use that when you need it, as it's an item. Likewise, if you're playing as Leon, he also has a way that he can kind of heal. Now, this is by going to repair your heavy armor here. So if you go in, you can actually do a body armor repair. You can still get all the healing challenges, so don't be afraid to do this. So yeah. And while some of the new weapons that you can get with the special content can be powerful, I did a video breaking down all the weapons, and in fact, your base game weapons are going to be better than some of these here. So don't even worry about spending the points on them until after you get the infinite ammo, which will make your run a whole lot easier. So yeah. Basically, as a recap, we want to buy the Kotetsu here for Grace. If you want to do two challenges at once, because this will make the ammo requirement less needed. Combined with beating the game and getting all the raccoons, this will get you enough for the infinite ammo. And then if we do both the challenges in one run, this will be enough to also get infinite ammo for the RPG-7. And then for our third playthrough, if you did the doll puzzle, you can then get the Remarkable Agent by playing on Insanity, because we'll now have the infinite ammo. So let me know if you have any questions regarding this in the comments. I hope you guys get the infinite ammo pretty quickly. It just takes a few more hours to speed run through the campaign. And if you're using the Kotetsu knife, it makes it a lot easier. You won't have to shoot at any enemies, as you can just knife them and run. So if this video is useful, please hit the subscribe button below, and I'll catch you all in the next video.